So what was the interview like?
The interview was very different from what usually people talk about. Usually, as far as I've heard, when I was reaching out to people, they're like, you need to know your portfolio very well. And in my head, I was like, of course I would know. I
Yeah.
made it.
Yeah.
How would I not know? But I get their point. And so I stepped into the interview room, and initially, I think I had this whole mindset of what's the worst that could happen? Like, I wouldn't get into an ID, right? Like, it's fine. Chalo, let's see.
Hmm.
I will be myself. I do not really care anymore.
Hmm.
So when I stepped in the interview room, I'm like, hi guys, how was your lunch?
Nice. That's amazing. That's, I
Like,
think, the best start. Yeah.
yeah. And they were like, oh, we had like a really nice lunch. What about you? I'm like, oh, my friend is giving his interview in ISC. I'll have it after this. So
Hmm.
yeah. And yeah, we just started off from there, and they're like, hey, why universal design? And I told them, I initially thought the universal design field was bad or not for me, rather. And then told them how I came into everything that I've just explained.
Yeah.
And then I don't know the order of the questions, but then they started asking me, do you really like what were you doing before this? I told them I am working right now.
Hmm.
This is what I'm doing. This is what I do in my everyday life.
Hmm.
And so they decided to ask me, do you really like your job? I said, yes, I love my job. Oh, then why are you coming here? I'm like, I'm coming here despite me liking my job. I like this a lot. I just happen to also like my job, but I'm choosing this now. I prefer this. And yeah, a lot more other things. They discussed a lot of my projects. So they went, oh, I had 4 projects. That's
Hmm.
it. I showed them, and they said, how do you get time to do all this? I said, I mean, I don't watch TV series.
Hmm.
That's the answer I give every time.
Yeah.
So now I stuck with it, and the teacher, his name is Jonah, right? So he started laughing. He's like, and मेरे दिमाग में तो इतना funny था भी नहीं, पर कोई बात नहीं. It's working in my favor. I don't
Yeah.
mind.
Right.
I don't
Right.
mind. Like, it's okay. They started asking, have you applied anywhere else? I said, yes, I did. So I was initially like hesitant to answer this
Hmm.
because I thought they wouldn't select me because I have also gotten through CEED.
Right.
They're like, have you applied for anywhere else? I was like, yeah, I've applied for CEED. Did you crack it? I was like, yeah, I have a good rank there, like decent. I think I'll make it there also.
Hmm.
If you get selected between here and there, where would you go? This is the only place where I did not give like an honest answer.
Hmm.
And that was because I did not know the answer. I do not select a college before getting selected.
Hmm.
I think that's just a weird pressure I would probably put on myself, right? So when they asked me, I told them I haven't decided yet. I think it's sort of not great for me to choose a college without getting selected. So I
Hmm.
haven't chosen NID. NID isn't my preference if I'm not selected by NID. Once I have 2 options in my hand, then I can have a preference. They said, नहीं ऐसे ही बोलो. Like, what's your preference? I said, so if I were to stay in Bangalore, it's easier to take an ID Bangalore because I just said that because I'm like, yeah, that's just a nice way to diplomatic way to go about it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not have a preference at that time. So that was what my answer was. Then like a couple of questions also was, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Hmm.
So when I was going through other interview, your podcast, somebody was asked, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'll explain. I have a nice timeline. When they said 10, that caught me off guard. I'm like, 10? And I was like, give me some time to think about it. And I sat there. There was a moment of silence. I sat there with the silence. I was just thinking. And I was like, you know what? I think what I'll do is, if whatever I start building, I've spent some time on the products that have come here. Some of them are prototypes.
Hmm.
I would like to take them into the market.
Hmm.
If it takes 10 years for them to come into fruition, then that's probably what I'd be doing. If
Hmm.
these things get over in 5 years, then I'd be working on something new. That's as simple as an answer it can get, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that was my answer. So apart from this, they did ask me, do you know any famous designers? I was like, Da Vinci. And like, and they're like, anyone from the modern era? I was like, no,
Right.
I do not, honestly. I'm
Hmm.
sorry. And yeah, like I did not see the point of knowing designers. I mean, now I do.
Hmm.
Now that I've come into college, they like have taught a lot of different things. And back then, no. I study for NID, do
Ah,
your own. That was how it was.
interesting.